So, part two, the effects loop. So, like I said, leaving my Archon through the effects loop out, coming into here, it goes through this array of basically time delay, reverb kind of stuff that I don't like in front of the amp. Most reverb and delay stuff doesn't quite sound so great in front of an amp. I mean, it can sound cool in a lot of ways. I like it to sound clean. I don't use delay or verb in front of amps except when I'm using this Afterneath, which is a weirdo, but I only use it on clean stuff, so it sounds great anyway. So this is cool. It's gigantic, and I hate it because it's gigantic. But, you know, there's a whole mess of emulation stuff. It's a digital delay. I've tried a bunch of analog delays. I don't really like them. I don't find they have enough control. This one's great. It has 4 tone print slots, so you can upload 4 of your own presets that you can completely tweak. It has all sorts of the usual suspects of emulation, like analog mod, the 2290, tube-based stuff, tape delay, lo-fi things. There's pretty much a ton of options in this thing. The other thing that's cool is a full functioning looper that I don't use at all, which is a shame because I'm terrified by loopers. The thing that I love about it, it's got a tap tempo, and it's got presets. So you can save 3 presets that can be, we'll save any position of these knobs. So if I'm here and I hold this down, it'll lock in these knobs. And if I come back and I twist these knobs to some random setting and I hit this preset again, it ignores those settings and goes right to whatever it was when I saved it. Really functional, really cool. The only thing that sucks is it ignores the tap tempo. It saves the tap tempo when you save a preset, which I find completely irritating because you're in the middle of a song and you want to change your delay from something like very like tame and subtle to something really crazy. If you save this with a really high tempo, it jumps to that tempo. It doesn't stay with whatever you tapped in, which I find kind of bizarre. Maybe they'll change that eventually. Doubtful, because I haven't seen any updates for these pedals and they've been around forever. So then that goes into the TC Electronic arena. I have a lot of TC Electronic stuff. It just doesn't clip. I've had a lot of clipping problems with digital pedal with my pickups because they're too hot. TC seems to play nice, so I use TC, and they're completely flexible, so I like them. The arena is kind of a scam. The Hall of Fame, which everybody knows, is TC Electronics' famous reverb pedal, the red pedal. You see it everywhere. Actually, I have one over here that I'm not using, the Hall of Fame. What the arena is the Hall of Fame with some changed settings. They basically took some tone prints that they made and made them permanent features on this list of things you can dial in, but you can always dial in your own preset and upload it and do whatever you want. That's it. They even say on the website it is a Hall of Fame with some extra presets that they changed. Is it worth buying one if you have a Hall of Fame? No, not at all. Although I'm using one of their new things on there, so I guess it was. I'm using Royal. It's pretty cool. So I use this for my super over-the-top crazy verb when it goes into absurd territory. You can see by the settings that are dialed in on there, it gets pretty, I don't know, pretty big sounding pretty quick. And then the other thing that replaced that Hall of Fame is the Red Panda Context. The Red Panda Context is probably one of the best verbs I've heard. I've seen demos putting it next to Strymon stuff. To tell you the truth, I don't really go for Strymon stuff. I find it a little too clinical sounding to my ear. It doesn't sound bad. It just doesn't sound worth the price of Strymon pedals. So I've never bought any, but this is awesome, and it's really simple to use. It's a little confusing because those 4 knobs at the top do different things than they say in different modes. So when you're in plate, damping does the high-end damping, decay does the low-frequency damping, and delay does how long the reverb trail is. So none of it makes sense. I mean, there's a decay knob that would mean reverb trail in every other setting, but in that setting, it doesn't. It switches. So if if you want to deal with the reading the manual 30 times, because I have, this is great. The delay mode down here is really awesome if you like the what is that Earthquaker pedal? Dispatch Master, which is basically a delay plus a verb for getting really big sounds really easily without having double pedals, one for each. It sounds awesome. I can't decide what I want to use it for. Am I going to kick this off the board and use it for the big sound, or am I going to keep it here and use it for my subtle plate sound? So how this works is the context actually isn't in one of these loops. Basically, when the audio leaves this to go back to the effects loop return from there, before it gets to the junction box, it runs through the context. So why does it do that? Well, first thing is I only have 3 effects loops that run in the effects loop of my amp. So I have 1, 2, and then the C is the channel switching, which is happening under here, that runs over out here for amp channel selection. So I only really have 2 effects loops to use. So the other thing is I run a subtle reverb in my effects loop all the time. I never turn it off, so it doesn't need a loop. So what happens is when the audio leaves here to go to there, to go back to my amp, before it gets there, it always runs through here. So all of my clean sounds and all of my dirty sounds, no matter what channel I'm on, no matter what pedals are selective, all run through that before they hit the effects loop return. The other thing is down here is the Keeley Katana Boost, which is a really good clean boost. I bought it because everyone said it was a really good clean boost, and I'm not really going to debate clean boosts that don't do anything except boost volume, so there it is. This runs after that. And basically what I use this for is a volume boost when I barely need a volume boost for those few moments where I want to stick out above the mix. Using a boost like this for volume doesn't really work in front of an amplifier when you're distorted. What happens is it ends up pushing your gain and saturation up and actually can make you sound further back in the mix. It very rarely will boost your volume unless it's a clean signal where you still have some headroom left. In the effects loop, it just takes whatever sound I got, makes it louder by a few dB, and I get a volume boost without any coloration, which is exactly what I want. I didn't want anything, I didn't want different sounds, I just wanted a little bit higher volume. So that's it. That's how it works. Everything comes in and out through here, so when I show up at a show, it's like guitar in, guitar out to my amp's input, the effects loop out enters here, it goes back into the effects loop return, and this goes into my channel switching for my amp. That's it. 5 plugs, and I'm in and out, and everything is stored in presets. So I'm going through a song, I've got clean distortion, I've got distortion with delay, I've got distortion with big verb, and then I have distortion with both big verb and delay for the crazy moments, and then I have a clean channel, and that's it. That's how it works. There you go, Chris. I'll do one more pan for you, Chris. And that's it. See ya.